Live. This is number 405. Fourth year, fifth show, I think is what we'll call that. Just take a look at the chat, make sure this is working out for everybody. It is Tuesday, around 5:30-ish. I've got a bunch of great products today that I wanted to show you. Some really interesting stuff that maybe you don't see on like normal channels like PTZ cameras and streaming gear. So if you're like me, I work in a church on Sundays helping with the technology team there, and you want to do some cool streaming maybe at your church or event, basketball games, things like that, definitely stick around because we're going to show some really cool products. I've also got some products when it comes to carrying all your tech. I'm a big bag snob, so I'm really excited about the stuff today. I'm going to make sure I've got my, okay. I'll make sure I have my stuff ready for you. We might have to do an intermission so I can grab one other item I was just thinking about. And then we will take a look at it. I'm just looking here. I got a friend of the show, Jonathan Talks Hardware, checking in. Thanks, Jonathan. He says, hey, well, hey, back to you, my friend. I want to check one other thing on YouTube. Make sure that the settings copied properly. So we're going to go with that and make sure our stream is working. If you are tuning in, let me know. We are going to go live on Amazon here shortly. It looks like that is working out okay, so thank you much. Drew Richards is checking in, says, good evening. Good evening to you, Drew, as well. Oh, Jonathan's got some PC parts he wants to show off here. Picked up some PC parts yesterday, a GTX 1660 Super, a SAMA 507 case, a black Fantech cable extensions, a 512 gig SSD, and 500 watt power supply. That's a pretty good haul, man. Looks like you're building a gaming rig, so I'm excited to see that. Thanks, Jonathan, for checking in. Okay, we got another friend of the show here. Los checks in, just gives the thumbs up. Means you can hear me, I believe. I'm going to kick this off with a product that I don't normally show. Now, I'm kind of limited when I'm on Amazon Live to Amazon products, but that doesn't mean that Amazon carries everything cool. And that is something that I'm very excited to show you. This is a travel backpack from Mark Ryden. Now, they make a ton of different backpacks, but they're doing something interesting this time, which is they're putting this backpack on Kickstarter. So if you look at the link in the video description, there is a link to a Kick ST project where this backpack's available for 30% off or $69. I'll just come out with the price right there, but I'm going to show you all the reasons why this is so much better for your kids' professional life and everything than the cloth Amazon junk that you get. So I can definitely justify the cost on this one. I have been playing around with it. My kids saw it and they're like, okay, I totally want this thing. And we'll talk about all the features that it has real quick here. And then I'm going to go live on Amazon. So I'm just kind of not cheating the system, but I'm not going to go live on Amazon and show you something you can't get there because that just wouldn't be fair. So take a look at the link in the video description. Right off the bat, one of the things, this is hard shell right here. So this is definitely a hard case. I'm going to give you guys a kind of a view of the top down of it. It does not show this awesome blue color properly in my cameras. Maybe it shows it on the GoPro side, but this has this kind of navy-ish blue. In the studio, it looks awesome. I'm actually going to be taking this one to PDX land with me. I think this is my daily backpack. Part of the reason is it rains all the time up here, and this one is waterproof. So if you look at those side seams here, come back over here on our top down, those seams are absolutely waterproof, which means in the Northwest, it's going to handle that. See how they're covered? And this outside shell is not going to absorb water. So that's another slick thing right here if you're from Washington. Let's open it up and I'll show you what's inside of it, and then you're going to get kind of jealous when you see all the cool stuff. So I'm just opening this thing up. It has a nice solid zipper. Now, it opens up this far, but you can actually unsnap these snaps here and lay it down all the way. Let's see if I can do that real quick. Just because I want to show you the whole inside of it and everything. So I'm going to unsnap these. Talk about ease of packing here. Completely lay flat design. So as you can see here, completely flat. And I'll go back to the top down and you can kind of see all of the pockets that it has. Oh, don't hit that button. I got to hit this button. I'm new here. So tons of storage pockets here, mouse storage here. It's got extra cables and laptop charger label on that one, which I like. It's going to have storage back in here. Another cool thing is a zip lanyard for your keys or key card. That's always slick. Separate pocket up here for different things you want to keep out. there's a hint right here is that it has two plugs. Now, is a a USB plug a new thing? Well, kind of. I'll show you about that here in a second. It's going to have some more pockets for your USB drives. It's going to have longer, taller pockets for maybe a presentation remote if you have one, maybe some pens or other things that you want to store in here. So you've got that. Does have room for a full-size iPad tablet here. And another cool thing, this is my 16-inch MacBook Pro. So this is the biggest MacBook they make, and it has a case on top of it. So with all that together, it is absolutely able to fit. And I have at least two fingers on this side and a couple more. So if you're one of those crazy 17-inch laptops that I've seen out there, you're going to fit in this, which is very rare to see. I want to flip this over here. We'll talk about the back. So it's going to have that soft padding on the back here. So even though it's got a hard shell case, it's really, really nice. It also does have, I don't know if this is PU leather, but it does have that soft straps on the outside and an adjustable chest strap. This is a must when you're loading stuff down and it's getting pretty heavy. So I'm loving the fact that it has this adjustable chest strap, including a crossover there so that you can do this, and a safety whistle, because of course, who doesn't have a safety whistle? So that was pretty slick. And then you can see here, it does have a retainer for your laptop. Let's talk about that USB, because if you want to do something cool, I can take this USB charger on the inside. I can plug it in right here. And then maybe I've got my phone somewhere else. So I'm gonna go ahead and zip this back up. I'll talk about some other cool things that it's got here in just a second. So maybe I zip this thing back up. Let's look on this side. It has, like I said, it's waterproof. So it has a cover over top of the USB ports. And it doesn't have just USB-A. It actually has the USB Type-C on the outside. So if you're fortunate enough to have an iPhone USB Type-C cable, it'll fit there. And both of those go directly to your onboard charger. Now, it doesn't come with a battery built in, but it has that slot for a battery bank, which is really slick. Another thing that it has over here, it's technically TSA safe locks, but you can take your two latches right here and you can literally push them down. And this is the only one I've seen, especially at this price range. It's a locking backpack. So if I'm at PDX Land and I have my backpack there, it has at least a basic level of security that it's latched. And then you can come in here. My PIN code is 000. I hit that button and now my backpack is unlatched. Now this isn't fully expanded. This thing will expand more. I haven't stuffed it full, so it definitely has a little bit of extra room in here. There's also this little pouch on the side here in the back. If you wanted to throw a tablet, maybe some special paperwork or personal protection device, maybe go back in here where nobody sees it. So that's kind of a hidden thing. Unless you're looking at it, you wouldn't know that there's that extra zipper in that back area. So pretty slick. Looking forward to using this, like I said, at PDX Land. Let's go ahead and give it the carry test. I have not adjusted this for myself, so I'm going to give myself a little bit of room here. But I like, form-fitting backpacks. I like very large backpacks for things. But there you go. So as I come into PDX Land, I can definitely have the technology backpack look here. Now, it doesn't have a ton of outside. I've shown you some other ones that have a lot more outside holes for putting things. But again, the interest of this is more like traveling and safety and waterproof and carrying all your tech inside of it. So you don't have to worry about things falling out. So for all those reasons, I think this is pretty cool. We're going to take a quick look over at Kickstarter on this one, just because I want to show you the Kickstarter page. Give me 1 second. I got to pull this up. And if you're just checking in, this is your first show. Hi, I'm John, the Net Guy. We're taking a look for the first time here, a product that's not on Amazon that was sent directly to me because it is so new. It's from Mark Ryden. They've made backpacks for a long time. I'm going to bring you over here to the PC so you can take a look at this, and I'll be back here in the corner. But here's the Kickstarter. They're already blowing this thing out. They're gonna get this thing pledged and run. This is just one of the many colors that they have of this thing. I think there's a charcoal, there's a gray, there's several different kinds that you can get as well. 124 backers, 8 days to go on this project. There is the Ratio Arc Pro backpack. There's two more of the colors that you can see here. all of the different features there that they were talking about. So it is waterproof. It does have the customs lock in there, scratch resistant, full lay down opening, which is pretty slick. If you give them the $10 pledge, you get a thank you, because thank you. But if you go up here to the Hong Kong 538, it's about 69 bucks. You get that Kickstarter price here. They estimate that they can deliver them in April. So I'm just doing this a little bit early, and I'll have the video posted to my YouTube for people that are interested in it. It looks like they've got a pretty limited quantity left of this level. Let's see what else they have. They have a dual pack for a little bit of a savings. You save about another $10. They're running low on those as well, very low. And then it looks like they have a special Panda edition there. So lots of cool stuff. And there are some more videos here if you want to see more of the features on it. But I just wanted to give you an introduction to this product. And there is the waterproofing I was talking about. Try that with your Amazon Basics bag, and we'll see what happens there. So very cool to see that. And I will come back here to the chat and we'll see if I missed anybody. Jonathan Talks Hardware says, hey, same price as an LTT screwdriver. Well, I think this thing is cooler, to be honest. I think that is neat. And we got Jim checking in, says hi, Jim. He's watching on the Facebook side. Good to see you there. And another friend of the channel, Circuit Rewind. I can't even see what that is. Oh, 5 backpacks. He gives it, is that like the 5-star? Vince from Circuit Rewind checking in there. And American says 69. Nice. I don't know if they planned that. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. I'm going to do a couple things real quick because Amazon's being Amazon. I need to see if my link timed out here because we're about ready to kick over to the Amazon side. Hopefully you guys are having a great Tuesday night. I tell you, it has been a week already over here. I'm going to change a couple settings here for the studio so I don't bake. That tends to happen a lot while I'm doing the show. And oh, Sherry, longtime viewer here, just checking in. Hey, John Freeman, that is me. Firestorm says hi all. Nice to see you here. I am going to turn this PC back here on for just a second. I don't normally do this during the show, but technically that's what's getting us over to Amazon. And it's saying on Amazon that we're not streaming yet. So I want to make sure that I am sending to Amazon properly. And then we will switch over to the next product. And here we go. I'm going to stop the stream to Amazon. And I'm going to start the stream to Amazon. And we'll hope that that works. I was thinking maybe there's a timeout. I don't know. And that's going to be really weird. Okay, we are ready to go live on Amazon. I'm going to turn this back off so I don't get really weirded out by this. And then we're going to go on to the very next product here. So we'll welcome all the Amazon people showing up. And I did just pick that first product in the carousel. I'm going to get to my laptop, which I need here in just a second. Okay. The very first product on the show is one that they sent me. They said, you have to test this thing out. It is really cool. I looked at it and I said, you know, I could see a use case for this thing. And this is a USB microphone for your laptop. Now, I can't tell you how many cheesy laptop microphones sound just awful, but this thing fits in your laptop's USB port, and it's a gooseneck microphone for PC, Mac, PlayStation. I'll show you everything that you get inside of it. It is got a cardioid pickup pattern. So if you're talking on your laptop, but maybe you got kids running around like I do all the time, you put that in your laptop, you can point it towards yourself. And actually, I'll pull the little cover off if it lets me. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I want to pull that wind cover off just yet, but it actually has a little capsule microphone here. So it's directional. So you can use the gooseneck and point it at yourself. The other thing that people really hate all the time, can't tell you how many times this happened to me. You're on your laptop. Maybe I work at my kitchen upstairs a lot, and you're on a conference call and you forget that your mic is open and you start doing dishes or doing something and makes noise. This has a button right here, which is unforgettable that you're muted or not muted. So it does have a visible mute indicator. I'm not sure if it's going to work with Mac because my Mac and most Macs forever have not had the USB-A. That's the only drawback I see on this one. Is it is going to be a USB-A, which is the standard USB, the original OG USB. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Mac. We're going to try it out real quick because I have a couple other ones on the show. And we're going to see if this works. My editor is really slick, though, so he's going to cut out all this wasted airtime while I'm hooking this up. And we will get started. And I'm going to go ahead and pull my MacBook out, and I'm going to show you, we'll use one of the pieces of Mac software here. I was just doing a little bit of research on the next week's product that just arrived earlier. Give me 1 second here. A couple of products coming up. And I'm going to do Audacity. Now, I have an adapter for Mac. You are going to need that if this works. So this is our first time doing this. If it doesn't work on my Mac the way that we want, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to a PC. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. And I'm going to plug this into this side port. Now, normally you wouldn't have this sitting so far out. So again, I can direct it towards me. Lights already come on. I can go to audio setup, recording device. I don't see the recording device yet in here. And this is the thing with Mac all the time is when you open Audacity or any program, you have to reopen it when you add a recording device. So there it is. It actually has a USB plug and play audio device is what it's called. Now I'm going to go ahead and plug my Mac in so you can see what I see on the video there. So I'm going to open the video up here. And I believe it's number 3 is the bench. Yes, it is. So there you go. You see me on my Mac. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit record here. And the gain on this thing is actually really good. I'm surprised right away. I see some gain coming back through this. So that's what you're seeing is the audio waveform there that's being recorded by this. This is going to work in Teams, in Zoom, and all of those applications. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if this works. It may or may not work right, but I'm going to try to play that audio back for you. And we're going to play it not through, actually, I'm going to preview it through the MacBook speakers just because I want to hear it. It's overmodulated, if anything. So I would turn this down slightly. So I'm going to do that real quick. So there's the left and right, and I can gain it down a little bit. So let me do that real quick. I'm going to hit record again. Okay, so the gain is down a little bit. The neat thing about Audacity as a program, you can do a lot of stuff. I'm going to gain it down even more, maybe 9 dB. There we go. So that's a solid waveform. It is picking me up. It's also picking up a little bit of the room ambiance. That's normal on this. It is directional. So I'm snapping behind it. And then I'll snap in front of it. And it should be a little bit louder as I go in front of the device. That's normal. Let me go ahead and play this one more time. You know, it sounds great here. Let me go ahead and play it back for you. I'm going to play this back because I need to hit this special button. And if everything works right, you guys are going to hear this directly on the stream. But let's see. Here it goes. So that's a solid waveform. It is picking me up. It's also picking up a little bit of the... Oh, you know what I realized? I have to change one other setting here, and I have to say go out the Blackmagic HDMI connector. Sorry about that. So we're going to test this out. Oh, it may or may not be taking that. We'll see. That was the sound. I need to set the sound output device in here. Sorry. This is what happens when we try to do this stuff live. MacBook Pro, Teams audio. It's not letting me do that with Audacity. Okay. Well, I will make sure my editor dubs this in so you can hear it. But again, decent sound quality out of this thing. It is a very affordable device. Let me go back and show you here on Amazon. And if you are just joining and you're on the Amazon and you click on that link at the video description, or you visit the one that's scrolling along the bottom, Amazon/shop/the Net Guy, you're going to get here. And this is the show page. So if you actually land on the main page, you'll see us live, which is awesome. And then we're going to go to show number 405 here. And you're going to be on the specific show page for this event. Hey, everyone. There's a couple people already on Amazon watching. And so when you're on that specific show page, it's going to show you all of the items that we're going to see today. And I'm going to show you today this microphone here. It is one of the newer products here. So it's got just a few ratings here, but it is designed to work with Mac or PC. It clearly works with Mac. It should work great with this PC over here. And then you can go specifically to that. I turned all of the Microsoft stuff, the shopping stuff, and it still comes up. That's how Microsoft is. I turned all notifications off and it still does that. Now I'm going to test the mute button. It does work. Okay, let me get you guys on the top down here. So this, it's going to be really hard to see, but this actually changes from red to blue. It blinked there, blue. So it's going back and forth. So it does have that mute capability right on there. So you get a bright red light if you're on Mac or PC. So for $10, it is going to improve the sound quality from your Mac or PC or PlayStation device. It does not work with Xbox, and that's not their fault. Xbox doesn't work with anybody. So that's the product there. That's the first product on the show tonight, kicking us off. And I'm going to pull the next one up on Amazon, and we will get playing around with that. And that is if you are interested at all in streaming video wirelessly. So the next product actually was just sent to me, and it's something that I'm going to actually use in our church live stream. So this may or may not apply to some of you, but if you're a tech at a church or event, I could see this being used at like basketball games. If you've ever been at a facility that does that kind of broadcasting where they have a guy running around with the camera. Well, I've got my little camera right over here. This is my GH5. I shoot a lot of B-roll with this, and I thought, what better way to test this out than to show what that might be like. So we're going to go ahead and use that. So this is a 4K ultra low latency wireless HDMI unit. Now you could use this to send wireless HDMI from a receiver to your TV if it's somewhere or whatever you want. But it's more specifically for production gear. So that's pretty cool. We got another visitor on the show. We got Mike Root saying hi. Hey, John Freeman. Nice to see you, my friend. Would like to know about a router that can install 2 internet companies. If one stops working, the other one kicks in. Good question. Los, I am not doing routers today. But if I get a router, I would check out the Unify gear. That's one that definitely does have failover routers, and somebody in the chat will probably give you a shout out of a couple brands that they like. But most of that stuff where you have a failover is going to be a business router. I know the Ubiquity Unify stuff works. The USG is a real common one for home that has a 2 WAN and 1 LAN port. That's what you're asking about. So that would be a good one here. So we're going to do an unbox of this. I have just picked it up on the Amazon live chat. So we're going to have that. I'm going to go on the top down so you guys can see what's in it. One thing I like about it right away, when I was checking this thing out earlier, is it comes in a carrying case, like an official case that you can carry to haul this stuff around in. Because when you're dealing with production gear, you need to have it protected, especially with gear that's this valuable. So in here, it's going to have a user manual. It's going to give you all the specs. This does 4K 30 frames per second and 1080p 60, but the frame rates on this thing are huge. So it's going to talk to you about how you can install the transmitters and the receivers. It can be run completely battery powered. You could record from this thing. You can also have multiple recorders. Or, if you have like a director view, if you want to have that, like for a tech director, and you want to record and you want to stream, you can stack up these receivers and have, one transmitter to multiple receivers, which is pretty cool. Comes with this little, it can pass through the wall. So as far as distance on this thing, it boasts a 656-foot line of sight range. Through walls, it cuts it down a little bit to 230 feet, which is about 70 meters. This is the receiver. It's marked by the RX here. And I'll go through what these have on them, which is just mind-blowing to me once we get it all out. This is the transmitter, both metal construction. So like that, that's definitely not your plastic box gear. 2 AC adapters if you want to run it that way. So that was really cool. I love the packaging on this, by the way, because it has a picture of everything you're getting. It's going to have antennas. This runs on the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz band. So this is the small antennas here that will transmit your picture to the receiver. So that's kind of neat. I'm going to put those on just real quick. So we'll dress these up all the way, and then we'll get into the other 2 products that we have here. Now, what's cool and what would be really neat is if it had a cold shoe mount. I didn't see that, and actually, I'll have to take a look at the mount on it, because I could see that fitting on top of your camera, your broadcast camera, that way. And so here are just a couple of the cords. You're going to have 2 USB cords here. So it can be powered by a power bank. So if you're a remote somewhere and you need to charge or need to power these up by just having a power bank for several hours of power, you can do that. And if you do have, and you're lucky enough to have AC, that's when you can plug in the AC adapters. And lastly, if you need to, it's got a Sony NP battery bank here, standard connector. So then this one is going to have the 3 different HDMIs. I'm going to cover that little piece last here. So it does come with 3 small HDMI cables. What I like about this one is when you're trying to use a gear, like I have a GoPro over here that this would work with. I have a Canon over there that this would work with. They all output different things. My main Canon outputs micro HDMI. My GH5 here broadcasts with this one. I'll show you real quick what that looks like. So this is a mini HDMI cable. Sorry, mini HDMI cable. This one is a mini HDMI mini cable. So you can see how small that is connector wise. And then it's going to have, I believe this is the micro. That's what the GoPros use. So it's going to come with all 3 cables. So by buying this one kit, you're going to have basically everything for a single camera setup. So you can take this and plug it in. A couple interesting things about it. If you really do have one of those nice Canon broadcast cameras, you see the ports on the side. Let's talk about it. HDMI, so you can bring it into the transmitter. SDI, so it's going to have SDI output, which is awesome because most broadcast stuff, you don't want to trip over the HDMI cable and throw the whole show out. So this is a locking BNC connector. Also is going to have that barrel jack for AC. You flip it to the other side, you're going to have your USB connector, and it's going to have a loop out. So maybe you have a monitor that's on the back of your camera and you want to go from camera to transmitter to monitor. This is a pass through, so it's going to work that way. So that's the transmitter. This is your 4K receiver. Now, again, we can stack as many of these as we want. Same kind of form factor, which is cool. 1/4 thread on the bottom if you want to mount this to, a post or something. It does have a battery mount in the back. So you take any of your Sony batteries here and you just slide it in. Hopefully I got the right Sony battery. There we go. And so that is there. Now I can turn it on and I'm just double checking. So it looks like it's got power. You can see that it's got the link light and it's got a full battery. So if we wanted to run this completely wireless and just have a wireless receiver, maybe we're doing a stream and we want to have an audience camera or something cool like that, you could totally do that. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how that would work. Because we actually do have power here, I'm going to take this battery and I'm going to save it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out the AC adapter. I'm going to put that on the receiver and I'm going to set this up so you guys can actually see what wireless video looks like from this camera. Let me go ahead and unplug a couple things that are not in use. I'm going to go ahead and plug this one in. So I'm putting in the power adapter here. And this is going to go on the receiver side. And then I'm going to plug the receiver into a spare input. So one other thing that I need to point out too, which is really slick, on the 12-volt connector, it's going to have also a threaded barrel jack. That is a sign of more production level gear. When you have this threaded barrel jack, you don't have to worry about somebody tripping over it and shutting down your production. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. I'm going to go ahead and take the HDMI. We're going to plug this into here. And this should receive the signal then that's coming from the transmitter. So I'm going to show you how easy this should be to set up. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a look and see, does it have anything? So when we don't have a signal, it's broadcasting just black. It's not getting anything at all. I am going to take the transmitter. I am going to take the HDMI input for the transmitter. I'm going to take my camera. Now, for my camera specifically here, and I'll show you guys what I'm doing on this one. So I'm taking my GH5 camera. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And we're going to be like we were doing a selfie here. So I'm going to go ahead and transmit this. This does not have to be a handheld camera input, by the way. This could be working with many, many other different things. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Transmitter says it's ready. Link light is blue, whatever that means. And then link light is now green. So I'm going to go ahead and set this over here. So there is no wires connecting this view. There we go. I love it. And let's see what we get. Did we get it? I want to double check this side. This side says it has a link. See, this is the curse of live video. I'm double checking my inputs here. And make sure I don't have to link this together. So we've got my transmitter. We're coming into the HDMI, not the loop output. And I do maybe need to check my HDMI output, but we'll check here. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in direct. See, the link is blinking. That's telling me something. Let me plug this in direct and we're going to see. There we go. Okay, so that's what I was looking at. I want to see this kind of view, but I want to be able to take it with me. And that's, again, what I'm working on with these guys. So we'll go ahead and look here. The link guy is blinking. We're going to go HDMI out on this one. And I'm going to double check. There's no signal. So it is giving us that. That's a sign. And then let's plug this guy in. So my transmitter side is now plugged in. It worked. Okay, I got to give you a side-by-side view. Let me configure this real quick. So DV1 is going to be that. DV2 is going to be 6. And we're going to put you guys side by side. Okay, now you're seeing what I was talking about. So if I want to mount this, I would mount this up here on this hot shoe. But I've actually got now a wireless portable. Don't worry about the colors because that's, again, my camera settings are all jacked up here. But I have a wireless portable handheld shot that I can take anywhere within 656 feet. Of my base. Now, the other thing that's interesting about the voice, let's see. Oh, sorry, we're getting an audio echo because I have this. It's also transmitting audio. I should point that out. The echo that you were hearing was if I clap, so you can see there's a slight bit of delay. Now, for a basketball game or other stuff, that's not going to matter so much, and we can still tune all this. My Blackmagic lets me tune some of that. But it's supposed to be 0.1 second audio delay. So that's pretty slick, and I'll look through all the settings here, but I just wanted to give you an initial take on it. Being able to do this, I'm going to turn the ISO down on my camera because it's blown out, and I want you to see the actual video. So that would be more accurate. But I'm able to do now a handheld shot with my GH5 that I haven't done before. And what I'm doing to make that work, let me see if I can change this camera over here so you can see locally what I'm doing. So that is the transmitter right here with a battery on it, and I'm able to transmit. Now, you'd be able to do this a bunch of different ways, right? So technically, and I think what I did is I started them up in the wrong order, but technically I could power this if it was a fixed camera, which I'm going to show you here in a second. I could power this with the AC adapter, and I could just have a wireless link on both ends, which would be really slick if you're like our church, and maybe you can't mount a camera somewhere. Maybe you just have a power for that, but you need that HDMI signal, low latency. You could definitely do that as one option. You could run it from the battery, or if it was a longer thing, you could run it from a USB brick if you needed a lot of that power. So pretty cool. Circuit Rewind said lots of echo with the camera. Sorry about that. That is that 0.1 second audio delay that it has. And so that would happen, but hopefully we got rid of that here. And Randy's checking in, another volunteer here at our church, says hello, hello. So pretty cool. So that was the wireless HDMI transmitter video system here. I'm going to take a quick look at the Amazon page so you can see what we're looking at for that. So unit is not cheap. I'll put it that way. Let me get my correct camera here on the side angle. So we're looking at the Amazon page. Hey, there you go. I'm in the corner. So we're looking at the Amazon page. It is $899 right now, but if you check that coupon, you can knock $360 off on it. I did the math for you. That's $539. That's actually pretty reasonable for a wireless, low latency, long distance video transmission system, up to 60 megabit feed rate, which is enough for a lot of 1080p. That's going to look gorgeous. So, you know, they're not worried about too much compression or artifacting there. There is the different video standards. It does do HDMI or SDI, which is great for these prosumer devices here. And then there's the low latency. Sorry again about the audio. My editor is going to cut that audio out because he can pick the different audio tracks that we have here. And there's a fanless design. That's another thing, is it's going to be all metal body. So it's going to do that. And then the ability to have multiple receivers and multiple outputs. So that's pretty slick. And there's the units themselves. So very happy with this. I'm going to take this to our church and we're going to try this out with another camera angle that we're not usually using. I want to try that and see. And then the neat thing about that is we can decide if we want to go run an SDI drop somewhere, but this could actually work for an entire service for us and having a second camera angle. So very cool. I'll show you guys a little bit more about that here in a second as we get to our next product. So I'm going to check the chat real quick and make sure we don't have any questions on this one. Yeah, Jonathan says wouldn't buy because he doesn't use the wireless. Well, some people do. You know, this is a very specialized production gear we're looking at. But when you need something like this or specific for this solution, this can be really neat. And I'm actually going to show you a couple other neat cameras here that might work for you, Jonathan. Got some neat stuff. I'm going to get this out of the way safely. I wish I could pack it up like it deserves right now because it does have such nice packaging. But I'm going to go ahead and move this down and we'll get the next product out. So, and I will double check the chat as well. I have to check the Amazon chat. Don't want the Amazon people not to be able to say hi. And I'm just looking through here. Hey, Michael Root started following. We get a ding for that, you know. Get our ding for the extra follow. Thank you, Mike Root. Now I'm going to show you another product here. This is for, again, high end. If you're looking for something for your home theater, if you're a gamer, there's somebody in this thing, Circuit Rewind is in here, and he has an amazing monitor with a display port out. But this is an HDMI 2.1 cable set. These guys reached out to me and said, hey, you know, we've got this new cable set. These guys make, this is the RUI Pro, RUI Pro. These guys make HDMI certified. So I was reading up about this before the show. There's HDMI.org actually has to certify the eARC cables now that you get. So what was neat about this is that they're testing these cables to meet a standard. Remember back when you used to get iPhone cables and they were all junk? Well, then they had MFI certification. This is very similar to that. So this is an ultra high speed HDMI cable. I haven't even opened this up because I wanted to do that with you guys. We're going to plug them in and test them out. But one thing I want to tell you about this is they're good for up to 8K. We're not even in 8K land here at the house. We just got 4K 120. So I've got a gaming 77-inch OLED upstairs. That was happy Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthday to me for the year. So that's going to be killer. But when you get up to those 120 4K or 8K 60, you're talking about tons of megabits and gigabits of transfer rates to get that data through. So I'm going to go ahead and open this one up and go into the top-down view so you guys can see that. Now, what's cool about this? This is a 1.5 foot cable. This cable is absolutely minuscule in size. Do you see that? And the other cool thing about it is it's super skinny. So in the days of having really thick HDMI cables, so this cable is only, I believe, 3 millimeters thick, and it can be swiveled, it can be twisted. It's kind of like those mini networking cables, the Cat 7, Cat 6 network cables that are this tiny. That's how small it is. This one just happens to be the 1.5 foot version, so 18-inch. But let me show you what that compares to. So this is an HDMI cable from Amazon Basics. It's the high speed, so not even rated the same rating as this 8K Ultra high speed. And look how thick that cable has to be. And this cable actually is going bad, I think. So I brought this out just as a comparison. But, this cable with these really bulky ends, you can see the difference in size on these ends. This thing's going to fit laptops with the shell on like mine. That's one option. Now, sometimes you're going to say, why do I need an HDMI cable that's only 18 inches? Well, if you're interconnecting between a receiver and other video gear, you could definitely use something like this. If you've got a receiver like I was just showing and maybe a video board and you want a cable that is certified and not fly by night, pricing on this I believe is $8.99 right now. So yeah, there's an $8.99 and then there's a 2-pack that I'm going to show you of 3-footers that's coming up next. And so I'm going to go ahead and just tap that right now so you guys can see that. So that's coming up here. So this one right here is the next one, and same ratings, a little bit longer cable. So where would you use this one? If you didn't have a display port cable and you wanted to maybe plug this into a monitor, this would be really good for a monitor. If you wanted to use it again with video equipment, maybe you need a little bit longer distance between your devices. You can definitely do that. So this is the 2-pack of the 3-foot cable. So that's what it looks like here. There's the box from RUI Pro. Circuit Rewind's checking in. He says, I need shorter than 18 inches. Okay, so you need definitely rack level. It's funny because you can get down to 6 inch cables for rack and networking equipment. So this is the 3 footer. So you can see it's definitely even out of the frame here. There's 2 of them, and like I said, these can actually be twisted and rolled and folded up and go through even really small gauge wiring holes, because the connector ends are barely a little over 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8 of an inch. So there's a 2-pack here of these cables. So if we were using that video receiver that I was just showing, we could go from a monitor to the receiver, maybe out to another monitor or device. So that's the 2-pack of cables. These are $18.99 right now, and they are 8K capable. So incredibly high bandwidth. That's HDMI 2.1. You're going to see that they have eARC, audio return channel, variable refresh rate. They have all of the high-end ratings that you need. Let's go take a quick look over at Amazon, and I'm going to go ahead and get back to that page. So if you come here, I have both of them up right now, and you can see this one, brand new product here, $18.99 with 10% off. And all you have to do is choose between the 1.5 foot if you want and the 3 foot. The other thing that I did not yet mention, just like Anchor in the past, I was buying Anchor iPhone cables because when they did go bad ever, they had a lifetime warranty. These cables have a lifetime warranty. So if you get one of these cables and you're carrying it in your bag, look how light these are, and for some reason it snags or it's not working right, or something's just not performing, they will replace it for free with their lifetime warranty. So that's really exciting. Another feature you don't regularly see here, and this is what they're talking about the video resolution. You are going to get some paperwork that shows that they have actually passed the certification here, and this is that flexibility that they're talking about. So this is a cable. If you're putting a hi-fi system together, it seems weird to buy an ultra thin cable. You're used to the bulky, big, thick stuff, but if you want something that's very easy to route between devices, this would be it. So that's pretty cool. It is going to do all of your pass-throughs. You can see over here the eARC support, PlayStation, Xbox, Blu-ray. It's going to do up to 48 gigabits per second. The new HDMI 2.1 has, with eARC, it has 32 audio channels and a bunch of raw audio channels. So back in the day, you used to have your HDMI, then you used to have your receiver, then you have an optical cable and all this stuff. They've just simplified everything and gone with these combination cables. So I want to thank Rui Pro for sending out these for a fair and honest review. I can't wait to hook them up and start using them. And actually, I was going to do one quick demonstration real quick just to make sure they work, because I can't say that I didn't plug them in and then still be honest with you guys. I'm going to put this external monitor. So in most cases, this external monitor, I've used it with my laptop with a USB-C cable because it can do 2 devices. It can do the display over that. Give me 1 second. But I'm tired of carrying a 6-foot HDMI cable. So I'm going to just grab this little mini HDMI cable from Rui Pro. This is the 1.5 foot one. So I'm going to grab that, and then I'm going to grab my laptop. We were just doing that demo earlier, and I need to use it for other stuff anyway. So I'll go ahead and plug this in, and we'll see if it automatically works. So I'm hoping everything works right on this. I may have to turn this CapRav monitor on. There we go. So I've got my display going here. It's actually not mirrored, it's just extended. But yeah, with that 48 gigabit, I'm only using 1080p 1920 by 1200 resolution. But yeah, that little tiny cable would be a lot more convenient to carry than a 6-foot regular HDMI cable. And there you go. No smoke and mirrors. It's actually connected. So I just wanted to show that we were actually using it. So pretty specialized stuff tonight. Just checking in here. Got a chat on Amazon. Thanks, Chuck. He was just listening in here. And we're going to go over to the next product. Now, I did mention, speaking of video products tonight, this one is actually coming from the Avcans company. I have a full video on the Amazon product page already, but I'm going to show you a neat tool that you can use for your broadcast needs if you're at a church, sporting event, a bunch of other different opportunities here. Maybe you even want to use this as a camera for your live stream, like Jonathan Talks Hardware, because you can use this to actually zoom into different areas of your room. So if I have this camera mounted over there and I want to show something up close here, I can hit a button and have it zoom in. And that is a pan tilt zoom camera. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on the impacts of what a PTZ is and how you can use it, but I will show you. This is the 20x pan tilt zoom camera from Avcans. Just making sure I've got enough HDMI cable here because that would be embarrassing. Might need a wireless HDMI transmitter if I didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this down. Okay, so the neat thing about the Avcans here, the PTZ, is all of the connectivity. I'm going to show you the back of this one real quick. Give me 1 second. Our disc wants to blink at me, so I want to make sure I'm recording properly. So there we go. So this is on the top down. You can see the back side of this, and it has multiple connection options from HDMI, Ethernet, SDI, and USB. It can actually connect on all of these simultaneously and output 4 different technologies in one camera. So your connectivity is unlimited with this thing. SDI is for that broadcast need. That's that locking BNC connector. This gets up to 1080p on this device. They have 3G SDI, which goes even higher. I'm going to use the HDMI today. Now, if I wanted to be normal, I could just plug the AC adapter in, right? But I'm going to do something a little bit cooler than that, which is actually how we use this one. I just borrowed this from the church earlier today, which is because I need it to have internet access anyway. I want to access, or not internet, LAN access. I can access it over. I'm just going to use a cheap PoE switch. This happens to be from Netgear. This is a regular PoE, not Plus or anything else. And I'm just going to go ahead and plug the Ethernet connector into the back here. While I do that, I'm actually going to show you where I'm plugging it in. So I'm going to plug this cable into the Ethernet jack here, and I'm going to do it to let it auto initialize. I need to do it sitting down there. And what's going to happen is this thing's automatically going to start up. So there's a light on the front of it that's lit up. It's initializing the software in it. Now this thing has RTSP. This one has NDI. You can see it's kind of auto locating itself. And it has a really decent picture right out of the box. If you want, you can control the entire thing with this remote control that I have here. So if we come out to this side, you can see I can use this remote control and I can actually just tilt and move and see it. So who wants to see the actual view of it? I'm going to pull this thing over to the corner here, and then I'm going to switch over to it, and you guys will be able to see the video that it has. So you can see how crisp and clear that video quality is. And guess what? This is not zoomed in. So I can zoom this thing in. This one is 20x. I did not shave today there. So now it's not auto focusing. There it goes. It's auto focusing. It does have tracking ability on some of their newer ones here, but there's my zoom. I can actually set preset points around the studio, and you can see the color is just dead on automatically out of this thing. Really, really good camera quality. And what's neat about this, like I said, is if you actually have this set up properly in your church or other congregation, and I'll show you how we use it here in just a little bit, you can actually have it go to preset locations. So I can say call 2, and boom, it's going right to there, whatever that was in 2. Or I could say call 1, and let's see, 3 call, 1 call. There it goes. That's whatever 1 is in the preset world. Going back there. So I'll show you what those actually equate to in our location, but I wanted to show the PTZ camera first because there's many different ways to control it. I can control it with an NDI application that has NDI PTZ controls. I can control it with a cell phone. Like if you have a PTZ app on your phone, you could do it that way, or the remote control, which I showed you, which was again another way to do it. The product I've got coming up next though, Avcans just sent this thing out and we've used it last week in our church, and it's really cool. So I'm going to skip here from the camera, which is an amazing product all on its own. And I'm going to show you about another great product from Avcans. And we'll do an unbox of it real quick here. And that is their PTZ and serial joystick controller. So joystick controller, if you've never used PTZ cameras, is really cool because it lets you focus on specific items, move around quickly if you need to. It can control multiple cameras and multiple camera angles. And with 2 PTZ cameras in a small church setting, you can do just about anything. So we're going to do a quick unbox on this one. And go ahead and get here and have this stuff loaded up for you. So inside of this box is the PTZ camera. It works with the Avcans right away, but it'll also work with Fomaco. It'll work with PTZ optics. It works with any Visca IP compatible, or I think it's RS 460 something serial. Nobody ever uses serial anymore, I hope. This is the instruction manual on it. It's going to tell you all about the setup of it. It's going to have all the information about how to use it, what all the settings do. If your serial baud rate, and actually I was close, RS422 or RS232 or RS485. So it has all of those different protocols here as the standards, but I'm going to use it over PoE. So I'm not going to plug the power adapter, even though it comes with one, because you can clean up your entire installation if you're using just PoE gear. It does up to 6 channels, and it has a LCD control and a 4-dimensional joystick there. So pan, tilt, zoom, and lock capability. So there's the inside. Now I'm going to pull the other items out here. If you are troubled enough to use serial, it does have a serial interface block that you can use. We're going to go here. This is that locking barrel jack. Love to see that on production gear. So this is going to be your 12-volt adapter, and it's going to come with a US cord here. Now I'm not going to get into those because, like I said, it's really so easy to get a PoE switch nowadays and power everything off of one. So here's the unit, well packaged, very safe. Now I have been lucky enough to get to use this one for a service, and we have an older joystick that we were using before that I got off eBay, and this is a huge upgrade. So we're really excited about it. Doesn't look very big, but it packs a whole lot of features into this small package. Now I'm going to do a couple things just to be able to show you all the stuff here. One, I'm going to plug in another one of those HDMI, or not HDMI cables, another Ethernet cable. So back over here, if we take a look at the interface options, so there's your serial with the RJ45 connector. There's your older serial. Oh, sorry, those are your tally lights. My bad. Your RS232. Now your tally light connector is pretty cool. So this has the feature that if you highlight a camera like camera 1 or camera 2, it can turn on that red light, that analog light above the camera. So this is a tally light block. I didn't even know that on this one. And then there's your threaded barrel jack. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it into the IP side here. This is how we use it. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug this into my PoE switch. And I'm going to go through the process here of how you would set this all up. Now, unfortunately, my camera up here does not do very bright screens well, but I can maybe bring that up here, and you can see the Avcans logo. It's starting up here. You probably won't get to see the cool page here. You know, I'm going to have to adjust with our physical camera here. Maybe I can show you on the GoPro while I'm doing this. I'm going to give you guys a view of this while we're setting it up. I'm going to make sure you guys see the quality of it. So let's take a look at the GoPro right there. So you can see the status. It has the camera, the IP address. This is memorizing everything that it had into it in the ROM. Now, how would we find the camera IP address for our previous camera, right? So it's not connected to whatever we want. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to grab the remote control for my PTZ camera. Let's go over to that PTZ camera. Now it's zoomed in and off into a different direction. So I'm going to bring it up towards me onto some black area there. And I'm going to hit the menu button on it. Then I'm going to go to status. And then I'm going to go to IP address. And there is my range. So it's 158 is the IP address. Now I'm going to hit menu and get out of that. That's important. I'm going to come back over to this one. And I'm actually going to go into the setup of it. So I'm going to do camera 1. Setup on this one. I'm going to change the camera IP address on this. Let's see. There we go. So I just happen to be on this one, and I wonder if I can type over it. Yep, 1 and 2. Enter. And this is 99. Oh, see, it's actually automatically filling it out. So let me do that. Let me start over. 168. And then we said 99158. Perfect. Okay, now if we've done everything right and we come down to this call, it's going to connect to it and we're ready to go. So connect timed out on that one. Let's take a look one more time here at our camera. Make sure I got the IP address right on this one. There we go. And let's see if I got the camera 2 one. 103, 5678. I got the UDP port wrong. Sorry about that. So we have 2 different camera models. We have the Avcans and we have this one. So this is the camera being controlled over here. I'm going to again confirm IP address that we're using the right one. And I'm going to go here to camera 1, inquiry. And we're going to go here. And we're going to go to this, and we're going to do 56000. This is the one thing, is the interface. I wish it was easier to use on this, but 5678, enter. And call. Connected, okay. Okay, perfect. We got connected. Now I'm going to put these side by side on the screen. It's going to take me a second just to get both cameras going. So on DVE1, I want camera number 3. DV2, I want 5. And we're going to go to a black screen. And then we're going to give you guys this side by side view. Now what you can see is as I pan and tilt here on the side to side, I'm actually turning the camera. So if I were to switch this other one to the front view, you can actually see the camera moving around while I turn this. Now, what's neat about this is I can actually go to those presets that I set earlier, and I can do this for up to 6 cameras, remember? So I have these buttons here on the controller where I can specifically go to the individual cameras. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I have some controls over here on the left side if I want to do white balance and all these other amazing things. But to show you that, I'm going to show you actually just a live demonstration of how we use this in a recent service. So I could show you all the features here, but I'd actually rather show you it from a recording that I took on our last service, and you get to see how this actually works inside of a church. I'm going to go back over here and see if there's any questions in the chat while I'm doing that. So give me 1 second here. Just getting caught up. Okay. Look at that. Oh, I got somebody trying to offer me a stream partnership for Kick. Do they do that all the time? I would really be interested if you guys deal with that, that are Kick regulars. And I'm going to show here. I've got some videos that I'm going to display here. So I'm going to plug this in on my laptop, and then I'm going to bring those videos up. I want to make sure I got my cameras set properly, so you guys will be able to see me while I'm showing you these videos. Okay, so the first one is just kind of a little bit of our church setup. So I wanted to show you that. So this is where we used it at the church. And so that's actually showing you a double. So let's go to DVE1 and let's go to 5. So there we go. I'm talking in the corner. This is our church, and this was our last Sunday service here. We have an ATEM with a multi-view there, and we've got the AVCAN's IP joystick controller here plugged in with 2 different brands of cameras right now. We'll switch back here in a second. And what's nice about having 2 cameras all the time is that you're going to be able to switch. So you can see these are our 2 PTZ cameras here on the screen. We have silver and we have black. Silvers, the AVCANs, obviously. And so we're able to very quickly make adjustments or zoom in to a specific item that we want to show. Now, in this case, I wanted to show how easy it is to move live your view when you have 2 cameras. So I switched to the second camera here because I want to move the AVCAN's camera from one person that's up there in the worship team, and I want to move it onto somebody else. So you can see in that little tiny view there, it's moving. I'm sliding this camera over. The live view hasn't changed for the congregation, but I'm actually going to zoom in here to the worship leader because I want his face to be the one that we're showing in the next scene. So if you're a tech director at a church, you can use one of these types of devices with up to 6 cameras to kind of reset your image and where you want. It replaces the need for volunteer camera operators. So if you guys are from a church, you know how hard it is to get and keep volunteers. So in this case, I actually have our worship leader squared up the way we want. I'm going to go on the ATEM and I'm going to hit a button now, and I can put him up there with the lyrics so you can see how nice that looks. So if you were to watch this on our live performance, this is exactly what you saw. And I'm doing that. Now I'm going to go ahead and set the second camera angle. This is with the other brand of camera here, the black one. And I'm going to go ahead and move this into a different orientation. I think I actually take it over back the other way here. So you can use this to kind of control and have flexibility. I always like to have one base view that you can come back to. But here we're going to go to the bass player. Speaking of that, and so I can zoom into the bass player. I can get everything exactly the way I want it. And watch this. We'll come back over and we're going to hit to that second camera. And now we faded over. If we look in here, we faded over to the bass player. There we go. Now we got that second scene. Nobody noticed that we were behind the scenes fiddling with cameras and camera angles, which is pretty slick here. So this is from Avcans. We're taking a look today at their joystick controller. This is available right now on Amazon. This is not cheap stuff, but it is production level gear. And it is the most affordable production level gear that I've actually been able to play with recently. So very happy with these guys and thank them for sending this out for a fair and honest review. So that was that. I do want to show you one other set of advanced controls that this has that I won't really get into now, but one of the cameras was a little bit brighter than the rest. We noticed that when we were playing with this. We kind of leave the auto iris on. So this is doing our announcements. The silver camera is a little bit too bright. So if I want to go here, instead of using auto exposure, I can hit a button. You'll see that it darkens him down, and I can use that knob to adjust until I get it just right. So you can adjust they call it iris in the PTZ world, but you're adjusting your exposure basically. Then I can switch over to that camera angle. Now, if we look at our broadcast, which is going out of OBS, it's using that red boxes around the silver camera, and it was that easy. Now, that was the auto iris capability. There are a few others here. You're going to have white balance capability right from here. You're going to have autofocus. You have a couple cool options when it comes to zooming. Let me show you real quick the last little bit about this, and then we'll get on to our next product, because some people may be interested in this if you're into a production team or you've ever done that kind of stuff. So again, you're going to have your exposure, white balance, one push white balance to set it. You're going to have auto focusing capability versus manual focusing ability here. And then you're going to have this zoom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the little inset camera to be I have to plug it in to the Avcans again because we unplugged it for the show. So I'm going to plug it into here. So now you can see if I do this, I'm showing you my little inset is here. I can zoom in and out. You see how those controls work. I can also use this paddle zoom, and it's actually a little bit more gentle sometimes for people. So you can do that. You can hit this button on the top too. If you don't want somebody accidentally bumping into this or twisting it, I just hit the lock button. I can hit it again and unlock it. And now I have that capability. You can do a couple other things with presets. We said that you have preset access. There's 1, 2, 3 here. So I can hit these buttons and I can go between 1, 2, and 3. Now that's the quick preset mode. So if you go into the setup of the system, it is one of the advanced configuration settings is called quick call. The one thing I would say that was frustrating is you can't do a quick call and set things easily, because the way that the set works is you have to hit the number, then hit preset, or hit the number, hit reset to clear it, or hit the number and hit call. So if you have quick call on, you can't do that. We did have to turn the beeping off because immediately, and again, I'll see if I can get this to show up on there maybe. Oh, it's starting to come through. So there's the menu system. Again, it's a pretty elaborate menu system. You can do your pan tilt inverse. That's really popular for some people if your cameras are backwards to you, the stage or where you're at, and sometimes it gets weird to be backwards. So you can set that in the camera. So this is the AV Joy IP. I'm going to bring it up real quick on Amazon so you can see what I've been looking at here, or fortunate enough to look at. So I'm bringing that over. And I'm back here. Had to refresh this screen and it's not showing me my, there it is. Okay, so yeah, that was the Avcans camera we took a look at. We were just taking a look at the Avcans Super PTZ controller. So like I said, this is $549 right now. It is on sale. I'm not seeing the sale price. If you log in with Prime, it was $449 yesterday. I was just talking to them if you needed a discount code, and they said, actually, we're discounting for everybody right now. So you shouldn't have to have that discount code on here. But that's the unit. They have some other videos if you want to take a look at it and see how it's used. But pretty decent ratings already. And in the market of joysticks, this is a very reasonable price for the capabilities that you have here. It does have non-skid feet. I'll give you one improvement that I would love to see if they ever made an improvement for this one. Which is on here. I'm going to go bring the GoPro. So when you have the non-skid feet on this bottom, which are great, you also have non-skids right here. So when you set something up, you really, especially when you're using a joystick, you don't want it to be bouncing or moving around. Actually, this is kind of a funny view because you can see them both working here as I use them. Let's see. coming down. There you go. But the one thing you don't want to have it do is slide around. Well, when you use the built-in integrated lift, which is cool, it'd be nice if I had nails, it looks like. So if you want to put this, and it has multiple levels, there we go. So if you want to do that and you want to go all the way up to the top, it does slide a little bit because the way that this works, this doesn't have any non-skid on it. So that would be one improvement I could see them making on it. And maybe the menus could be a little bit simpler, but this is the kind of stuff that you really program once and then use forever. So I'm really excited to take this back to our church so that we can plug it into our system and work with the AvCans or the other devices that we have. So that is, I think, going to be the products for this week. I want to thank AvCans. I want to thank Rui Pro. I want to thank the Mark Ryden Company and others for sending out products for a fair and honest review. You may see these on my YouTube channel here in the future or my Amazon. Just in full disclosure, I get a very small single-digit commission on these items if you do purchase some. And if you do, I really thank you. And if you were entertained, hopefully I made that work as well. So thank you guys all for checking in. I will be catching you guys on a future video. I do have a tool stream coming up I've been teasing you guys with, which has a ton of wonderful tools that I'm super excited about showing you. And I've got some other neat home products. So that's coming up here in the next show. And I will catch you guys all in the next one. See y'all later.